right, EmRôs signing in. What up, peeps? We gotta stop authenticating these birth certificates, y'all. Okay. The word should get out by now. That's like old, obsolete stuff that we've been teaching people to do for years. Even some of the people that are also trying to shame y'all for doing it were also as guilty as I was for teaching y'all to do it too. I've authenticated quite a few birth certificates, mine and my son's, and never got no damn well with it, okay? The stuff that we've been taught about, you know, the Minnesota rule of practice 220 is not what we have been taught that it is. And so stop authenticating those birth certificates thinking that, you know, you own you own the trust or whatever the hell. You're supposed to own something because you authenticated. People, anybody telling you that, and they got these little processors they selling on the internet. Chances are they're just there to make money, okay? Okay, they're there to make money. I mean, if you want to authenticate it, go ahead. I'm just letting you know you're wasting your damn money. I've been studying this shit about 8 years now, and some people that actually was teaching this stuff, even when I came in 8 years ago, they were teaching the same stuff, and I was regurgitating the same thing I was taught, thinking that I would have to do that in order to beat my child support case back then. Well, actually, I started my journey 8 years ago, but I started my child support case 6 years ago. So, even after I beat that, I still was in there. I didn't learn about authenticating the birth certificate actually until about 6 years ago. Yeah, I learned it from, as a matter of fact, I learned it from Jonah Bay. But that's not to bash Jonah, because he ain't the only one else teaching it, okay? So a lot of people were teaching it, you know, Hindsight Radio, a lot of people were teaching it. And so I was teaching it too. So I ain't here to shoot nobody down for teaching that shit. Yusuf L, all them jokers was teaching that shit, man. So, but the thing is, as we get, you know, as we become more knowledgeable about what it is that we're teaching, you know, we move away from stuff that's obsolete, stuff that we realize is like unnecessary, or we had a misunderstanding as to what it was that we were teaching. So we got to get into an intense habit of looking up terms, you know, looking up the legal definitions of these things, of these terms that we're regurgitating that people are saying that we have to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to share with you some of the screenshots of the terms that I've actually found. Authenticate. This one right here is going to be, I think I got this one from 2009 Black's Law Dictionary. Right here. Authenticate. To prove the genuineness of a thing. Okay. To render authenticative or authentic as by authentic or attestation, sorry about that, or other legal formality. Okay. Authentication. This is 2000. No, this was 1933 right here. Okay. In the law of evidence, the act or mode of giving authority or legal authenticity to a statute, record, or other written instrument, or a certified copy thereof, so as to render it legally admissible in evidence. As you can see right here, you basically just, you know, when you go get, say, you have if you go pick up your certificate of live birth, you'll see it for yourself that you got like 3 signatures on there. Your mother's on there, most likely your mother's signature's on some of them. Not all of them are like that. But then you also have the what they call it, the physician, the one who delivered the child, you. And there's another, maybe some type of notary, some type of official that signed it also. You know, sometime in some cases nowadays they have electronic, they just type the names in there. But they also have the seals also. They have seals, you know, and it becomes a record. And you can always order those things that have seals and signatures on them, most likely. If they don't have, you know, handwritten signatures, you know, but they also have the names of the physicians, you know, the officers or whatever that are partaking in the creation of that document. And you got the seal on there to make it official. But that's also what they have there is already authentic. It's already authenticated. So what you're doing, you go to the Secretary of State, all they doing is authenticating a notary, that was whose seal is on there, who actually signed that thing. They're authenticating the signatures that's already on there. And they're putting their seal on there, and then they do the same thing with the Department of State, authenticating that Secretary of State. So that's all. They just confirming that record is a real record. That's all it is. And it's to be used for travel purposes outside of America. So if you going outside of America with your fully authenticated certificate of live birth, with that name and all on there, and it has the United States of America on there. It's not you pulling it out of the jurisdiction of the United States Corporation and all that stuff. Y'all got to look up the definition of United States as well. There are multiple definitions of United States. We do know that it's a federal corporation. We've seen that. But there are also multiple definitions. It depends on what code you're reading and what, which code, what chapter. It depends on what title you're reading. You have to pay attention that a lot of these terms have different definitions to them. So you have to look them up based on what it is you're talking about. Just like you look up consumer, it has different definitions to it. You have person has different definitions to it. You got artificial person, you got natural person, so you can't automatically say, oh, I'm not a person. Oh, you're a natural person according to the law. The living man and woman, speaking commercial law, it's a natural person. And the natural person is, for example, foreign to the commercial world. So, that's the language you're using. You just got to look these words up. But authentication, authenticating that birth certificate is not going to get you anywhere. I have never seen anybody get anywhere by authenticating the birth certificate. I've done it many times. I've probably done it at least 6 or 7 times or more with mine and my sons. So all the way to the federal level, and never got anywhere with it. Of course, I use them because I've got them and I've done things with them. But as far as achieving my goal, it never got nothing done. It didn't help me beat a child support case. I didn't use that method to beat child support. Like I said, I didn't learn about authenticating a birth certificate until 6 years ago, around the beginning time when I was actually fighting child support. I had already got them to back up off me by the time I learned about that. But yeah, I was trying to use it to try to see if I can. Oh, you own that. Now you own it. You don't own that thing. You just got a copy. You own that particular document. But, we were just taught incorrectly, okay? So authenticating a birth certificate is not. You got to understand what the terms of these words, what these words actually mean. I'm gonna close out with another reading right here. This is Cornell Law. Y'all know we love using Cornell Law. So Cornell Law. Here we go. All right. I'm trying to read through the screen. That's probably why I'm moving and trying to hold it at the same time so y'all can see what I'm reading. In regard to contracts or other documents, authentication means to sign or to execute the document. Authentication commonly refers to providing sufficient evidence for a reasonable juror to conclude that the evidence a party seeks to admit is what the party claims it to be. The process of authentication is often referred to as laying the foundation for the evidence desired to be admitted at trial. There are several different methods that can be used to authenticate evidence. Many of which are listed in the Federal Rules of Evidence 901. These include testimony of a witness with knowledge of a matter, evidence in public records, and evidence of distinctive characteristic among many others. Notably, absent from FRE 901, that is Federal Rule of Evidence 901, are rules involving text messages or other forms of modern communication. For the purpose of text messages, witness testimony is generally used to authenticate printouts of text messages. To successfully lay a foundation to introduce text messages, these witnesses must establish that two of the following are true. Number one, the listed phone number is the phone number of the person that the text is attributed to. Two, substance of the message is recognizable as being from the purported sender. Three, the purported author responded under other circumstances as if they were the author. The other corroborative evidence under the given circumstances establishes identity. For email or social media communications, a name attached to any given email account or social media account is sufficient to lay a foundation upon which they can be introduced into evidence. Most courts will look into other corroborating evidence, such as the list of contracts, the number of people with access to the account, and the nature of interactions other people had with the account to show that the alleged account was owned and operated by the person in question. As you can see, I think I made the point about the term itself of authentication. We don't want to keep running with obsolete stuff. When we learn better, we learn to stop doing the same shit over and over, expecting different results. When stuff is not, we learn that we actually fucked up on teaching something or regurgitating something that we've heard. We have to shut it down and start and move on. Okay, we can't continue on with it. Stop regurgitating it. If we're going to be iron sharpening iron, we can't keep on holding on to old stuff that's not working. If it's not working, leave it alone. Shut it down. Okay? Now that we know what authentication means, let's move forward. Okay? EmRôs, signing out.